Hi, thanks for tuning in to our vertical features series. In today's segment, we're going to be talking about typical seawall construction. Obviously, the biggest and strongest point of any wall is going to be that base. We have several videos that you can tune in to go really in depth into that base. But for our intents and purposes, we're going to go ahead and start at our base block. This is a very important piece that is newer to the installations within the last probably 7 to 10 years. And what this does is a few things for the installer. It's going to go ahead and give you a little bit longer term stability on your seat wall, retaining wall, whatever type of vertical feature you are building. It's going to give you an overhang front side and back side. We're at 19 inches by 14 inches wide. So we get overhang on most of our walls. If you have a kind of 12-incher that is probably on the larger side, you can actually rotate this to accommodate that as well. Other thing it's going to do is speed up some of your installations. We're going to go ahead and level off 19 inches versus block by block. Again, a older technique, I think that is a little antiquated, kind of speeding up our installations with these new base units. And then lastly, what you'll see we did here is actually, these are nice, has a nice smooth surface. So we went ahead and marked our block position and our basically in lieu of a string line. Kind of keeps things a little bit easier to manage on the job site. And so the wall we're working with today is our Lineo wall. And the reason I chose this wall is it's a great wall to have your crew learn because you can actually build it 4 different ways. So it gives you some versatility from both a design standpoint, but make things easy on the install. What you'll notice here is the block does have a multitude of sizes. It's 4 sizes included on the pallet. It's what we call a random pallet. And it stretches from 12 inches at your smallest size all the way to a 24-inch on the larger side, increments of 4 inches. So you have your 12, your 16, your 20, and your 24 inches. So it gives you some nice look. It gives you more of a modern look, a little more contemporary. And what you notice on the traditional install here is that we have what we call our shadow spacing both on the horizontal plane and the vertical joint here. To achieve that, we're actually going to use the included Lineo spacers. This is a foot long by about an 1/8 of an inch thickness. And this is for our horizontal areas here, what you'll see along that plane. And then you also get a T-spacer, and this is going to be more for our vertical joints, like you see right in there. So it's going to give us that effect pretty easily with these spacers. The one thing I will kind of remind everyone is not to put these or install these end to end. You'll run out. You get about 140 of these in the bag and 70 of your T-spacers. They're meant to be spaced out like you see here. So I'll kind of put one there. I'll kind of space that joint line there. I have contact here on backside. I have contact in the middle. You see how these overcross. And then you can cut a piece down to fit in that area at the top there. And that's what we've done there. The other thing that is a little bit different with this installation is going to be our glue positioning. Traditionally, you know, we have a 1/4-inch bead front and back side. Slide your block in place, kind of smear that glue around to give you some good contact. Otherwise, you can also do that S bead that you see on a lot of work. Same effect. Here, if we do that, we don't have contact. We have to make sure that we're above that spacer height of 1/8 of an inch. And so what our recommendation is, and you will use a little bit more glue, but nothing too crazy, is actually doing the dollop right on top of the spacer. It'll kind of give you some nice holding ability there on that spacer. So I'll go ahead and kind of put some dollops. You'll see I'm going above the spacer on each one of these, and I'll add some to the end, and you could do some across the middle. But what you'll notice, the effect is now we'll have contact once this top block gets set on top. Of course, I chose the biggest block to do that, so bear with me here. You might hear some grunting. Again, just kind of lay that in there. And I am going to give it a little bit of a slide, still kind of to get that smear around. And I'll take my vertical spacer here and then give it that nice push back into position. I'm nice and lined up on my sides here. My end is pushed in. I'm going to give it a little bit of tap to line up. And so now you see I have both my areas set there. One last little tip here, if this is going to be your last course where you're going to be using your coping unit, obviously this is going to get in your way, so we can just snip that top off and then slide it into position on final row, giving us an ability to put our coping without any issues. So again, a little bit quick on the install, but again, not too much to it. Great function. Again, like I mentioned before, the Lineo has a multitude of ways of being installed, which makes it a very versatile wall. And so what you see here is we've taken the spacers out. Gives you a really clean, modern look, which is very popular right now. And so you'll see, again, makes it a very traditional install because we don't have to worry about any of those spacers getting in the way. The other thing you can do here is actually create a in and out effect. Gives you a really nice look. And again, you'll see I have the different sizes here, and I can just basically, with my mallet, kind of push the unit out. Go back here and maybe move this one a little bit back to create, again, a nice in and out effect on the blocks. Again, you're not adding any extra work, not any extra time. The guys can basically, as they're going row by row, move them in and out. There is no rule of thumb, just kind of sporadically in there, almost like a random build. About a 1/4 inch out, 1/4 inch in, gives you a nice random effect like you see there. Again, no extra work there, new look. The last kind of look that we're going to talk about with our Lineo wall is kind of a combination of what we just did here, along with splitting the blocks. If you guys have been here for as long as Bruce Walter has, you know that you probably have a splitter somewhere in the warehouse. So we took ours out, dusted it off, and started splitting block. The unit that we have here will split a 12-inch and a 16-inch very comfortably, and so that's what we've done here. And what you see is we've taken the spacers out, just like we did here, and then we've also moved the blocks in and out like we did here. And then we add the third element, again, a little bit extra work, but nothing too crazy, of splitting these blocks. And what that gives you is a new element of texture, right? And so now you can see I'll line myself up a little bit out, go back to back here, so I'm in on the back side. So if you have a double-sided wall, you get that effect on both front and back side of wall. I'm a little out here, and then I would continue smooth, alternate with some textures and some different items there. Again, gives you a really nice look. Again, Lineo wall for all different ways. Makes it a very versatile wall to put into your arsenal. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.